Reading by Ghostlight. Lunacy grew with the spread of fair Selene, aglow on the pale page. Elder things stirred from the words of a dead poet, children of night-time. Nyx was there dancing to Hagian hymns under spectrums of ghostlight. Horrors there hovered and circled round, or dusty leaves of some black books. Gates to Elysian oped with Tartarean stench of long-dead gods. Billowing out, dreads on wings tittered and screeched as they flew high. Spiraling upwards, a phantasmic fountain of deadened and lost souls. Glyphs of some language infernal had seared maledictions on blank white. Song for the Devouring One. The ropey litter thrashed beneath the world with sable scales and claret underpart, as vilest worms emerged from viler heart. Inside the earthen darkness where they curled, their bloody bellies turned in nests unfurled, and by the cavern's holes as wounds that smart in altar stood, so carved for occult art, with ancient symbols dreadful priests had whirled. Upon the etching-covered altar top, the ritual offering's blood and braided lock had glowed so azure on a horrid sign. As croaking chorus rose and ne'er had stopped, for monstrous nestlings stirred against the rock, those summoned spawn that had deigned to mock design. Within the cavern's shadowed mantled maw, the ruddy spawn was slithering out the dark. Those serpent whelps had never heard the lark, though groped toward the light with fang and claw. Their sable eyes had leered at what they saw. A magus held his wounds that bore the mark of weird, forgotten powers old and stark. He groaned and crawled along the stony floor. The wizened wizard, hurt and bleeding dry, had cursed the birth of such a host of fiend. The witch had whined to be so timely weaned. From deep within there came the brutal cry, as worms had surged a raw deluge of rage. The witch had fallen upon the screaming mage. Despite his caterwauling spells and prayer, things gorged upon the magus's toothsome head and body till the nestling swarm had fed, though some had fattened much and burst a blare of sanguine gore across the cavern layer. The magic sucker magi often bled had flourished them, the skins were shed, and every deadly serpent grew their share. Those strength-infused things scraped across the cave, and hissed as hungry stomachs went to roil. The scaly serpent daughters came to crave the flesh and blood of men above the soil. They writhed within the dark to deafening shriek, and spilled upon the world for souls to seek. A stony city loomed within the dusk. 'Twas grain they milled from fruitful seeds they'd sown. Along the wind a rotten stench was blown, as murrains came to spoil and taint the husk. The serpent stank as ancient mummied musk. A rot had risen from realms unknown. They towered high above as giants grown, with lengthened fang so long it seemed a tusk. With crying like the satyr's pipe so loud, they rampaged through laments for pain's reprieve. The revelling horde began to rape and reave beneath a darkening sky and noxious cloud. And all surviving prey was skin for hide, for serpents wore the skin as trophied pride. Above, the moon had seethed to crimsons pure as fiery storms, ablaze with thunderous howl, had stirred the serpent terrors on their prowl. To frolic where our dreams and fears endure, the welkin reddened too with bloody gore. The carmine light revealed a scene afoul. The seeds of sin this reptile eye may hold are tears that roll in dampened scales and wiles. What love or joy is this? His eyes may roll to see a scene of death. A beast defiles the soul of joy itself, as prey are drowned for Sobek's hungry rage for watery graves, to bleed a life of blood to wet his glaive. His ruddy seeds are born within the ground. O Sobek, crocodile and god of lust, thy seed may seep from every corpse's mouth. Thy seeds are blown along a wind from south. For Sobek seeds are fertile wheat to dust, a murrain's rust, a scythe, as babies cried, a soul incised with pairs of eyeballs pride. To Vathek. A divan, gilt, bejewelled, and lavish, sits within the court as turbined caliph pries a book of puzzles ope, to whet his wits, incited by the suggestion of lies, that truth is false until the false is true. The caliph turns a sagely volume's page to shroud a truth and find a higher clue. To reap the gold of treasured times of age, a life of jewels remains the highest good. That's why a king is blessed with coins of gold, the coins that face this lie that truth has sowed, to burn the truth away from where it stood. As perfumes rise to fill a palace room, with sense of pleasure's heights and pleasure's grace, this palace built above an ancient tomb, to hide an age preserved beneath the face of every pyramid and every shrine, from lines of sight the sight of every line. Song of Fae-Land. Elder witches sing the songs of Fae that echo in an otherworldly clime, beyond the ears of men and light of day, beneath those ancient graves of rot and rhyme, that wake with wits and sprites that stirred from time within the shadows. Pupae break their shells, as butterflies may raise their wings of lime and dry their bodies in the flaming hells, to fly towards the skies, to knolls of deafening knells. Along the hues of Zephyrus's own breath, the butterflies are flying o'er the graves, to cast their spectres o'er those sites of death that Fae had built within ancient stones and staves, beside the wood of weirds and satyrs' caves. The magic realms that birth the death of change,